Hello and welcome to another special episode of Material Girls, Material Concerns. I don't want to say bonus because I think it's currently our majority of episodes, but our research light, chat heavy, fun episodes. I'm Hannah McGregor.
Fun heavy. I'm fun heavy. I'm Marcel Cosme.
Oh my God. On a recent episode, Marcel posed the question that somebody had asked, chunky or smooth peanut butter. But instead, when first reading it out loud, she said, smooth or chunky jazz?
Yeah.
And the way I keep thinking about getting a tramp stamp tattoo that says chunky jazz on it.
Horrible. Horrible.
Oh my God. You need everybody to know that Coach quietly saying horrible underneath what Marcel and I are saying is a frequently edited out feature of the podcast.
I'm just usually on mute. I'm going. Everything was like, was it good? And I'm like, it was awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah, you guys are so smart and people like when you talk.
Yeah.
How do these two goddamn academics manage to say the most disgusting things?
I'm like, why is cruel optimism so gross when they talk about it?
I just take sparkling water into my own open closet. So this live recording is going great.
I have some questions to start us off if y'all are ready for one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so ready.
Okay, here's a great question from Becca. The question is, how is it different covering something that is zeitgeisty now versus something that was zeitgeisty in the past? Like, is one more fun or challenging? Is your process different?
I personally find it much harder to do the research for a contemporary phenomenon, like a really contemporary one, because something that is zeitgeisty right now is like all discourse, no context. So like lots and lots of people are saying lots and lots of things, but we've got no distance at which to think about it. And it's harder to do that sort of step back, broad context piece. Whereas like even 5 years of distance really brings a lot of stuff into focus, really makes it easier to pick out like what's significant and what's just noise. I remember I was doing my PhD, Jade Ferguson, beloved icon of the show. I was doing contemporary literature and she's a 19th centuryist. And she was like, I don't understand how people talk about contemporary stuff. How can you possibly know anything about stuff that's happening right now? I kind of identify with that at this point.
I love that. I think similarly, I have found that anytime I've tried to provide context for anything within the last 5 years, I'm like, well, COVID. Well, there was a global pandemic that shut everything down. And therefore, it's just like, it's not untrue. It's just that it's like, how many times are we going to be like, well, let's talk about the COVID-19 pandemic and how that had an impact on fucking everything.
Yeah, I mean, people never shut up about the Enlightenment. So I feel like we can talk about the pandemic for a while.
There's something so like, not like vulgar, but like shocking when you use its full name now. When you're like, the COVID-19, I'm like, ah. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It gets horrible no matter what, but when you like say it that way, it brings me back to a time when it wasn't so casual, and I'm like,
yeah. Yeah. A little triggery. A little triggery.
I don't know why, but that made me think about this line that a student of mine wrote in the midst of the pandemic. She was writing a script for something, and she said, "We can't spend time with our friends anymore because of the disease."
Yeah.
I was like, it's a line right out of an apocalyptic novel.
Totally.
Because of the disease.
When it was brand new and
oh my God, we're talking about COVID again.
I know. Well, I'm sorry, but it was a big deal. Some of us are still recovering
After this,
from the
I'm going to
trauma.
talk about Kant for like 5 minutes.
Elliot was, how old was she when it started? She turned 5 during the pandemic. So she was 4 when it first started. And I was trying to find a way to like explain what it was that was happening and trying to like use language that she would both understand and that also would not frighten her. Yeah. And so I referred to it as the sickness. And hearing a child talk about the sickness is haunting. So I did a bad job.
So funny.
Sorry, everybody.
It's like objectively the name of a horror.
Because of the sickness.
Yeah.
It's like,
we can't go see Nana and Grandma this Christmas because of the sickness.
Horrible. Can't you see the horror trailer already where it's like, don't look now, it's the sickness. And then it's like, the sickness coming to theaters in October.
Ooh, well.
Crushing your global economy this March.
Yeah.
A March horror movie.
We have another question now from our chat. So I'm going to pop back from our Patreon to our live chatters. And let me just go back up. Well, one, somebody said, Deanna said, petition to rename Free Jazz as Chunky Jazz.
Yep.
Yes. Correct. Okay, and Paula has a question. Have you ever thought about making an episode on fidget spinners? We haven't, but I would love to.
Let's.
Yeah.
Like fidgets. Let's make an episode about fidgets and the rise of fidgets.
Poppets.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Elliot has a lot of poppets. They didn't work for her.
Yeah, they don't work for me either. I got a ton of fidgets, and it turns out the only one that actually works for me is like the silly putty.
Oh, yes. I had a kid in my camp this week doing that.
Really
good stuff.
The only one that works for me is swinging in my chair like this, and Coach hasn't gotten me in trouble for it for a while.
Coach says that she's not allowed to.
Coach says that it makes for bad audio.
Can you imagine if you had like a fidget spinner the entire time?
Oh yeah, just like
what? I'm telling you, that was all week with these little campers. All week I was camp counseling, and that's traumatized me. But they all were just like, "What? I need it," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "You probably do, but also like I can't like right in my ear. It's like
probably do, but I will kill you."
Like, oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh, someone's like talking about playing with the telephone cord in the 90s. Classic. That's classic. The OG fidget spinner.
Yeah. OG.
Did somebody write down the idea of doing an episode about fidgets?
Yes.
Somebody's got to write that down.
Surely one of us with ADHD will remember.
Yeah. I got it. Joe, I'm not sure. Joe from Patreon said, for any of the episodes so far, were there any critical theory frameworks you were close to choosing rather than the one that you ended up choosing for the episode?
Definitely.
For sure. Marcel, you had one that you ended up doing you were like kind of not far into one, but you were like, I really thought it was going to be this, but actually it's going to be this.
Oh, I have no memory of that. That sounds cool.
Yeah. I will say,
awesome.
What a cool research process.
When Marcel pitched sweet potato fries, I don't think she necessarily changed her focus, but she surprised us all. Because I think we really all thought that it was going to be about like hipsters and food trends and like and then it was about, everybody repeat after me, the biofortified orange flesh sweet potato.
Orange flesh sweet potato.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was about food colonization, which frankly, fascinating.
Frankly?
So much more interesting than hipsters.
Yeah, I usually start with like a really vague sense. But I would say the one that pivoted the most in terms of what I decided the focus was going to be on was the Blackout Tuesday episode. Because I originally thought, I actually can't remember what theoretical framework we used. I wanted to talk about like the concept of performative activism, and I wanted to talk about the social media landscape. And I think we ended up talking about platformization and the transformation of social media. But for like a while, I was doing a lot of research into ideas of performative activism, performativity, like there was going to be a whole Butler component. And then I was like, actually, no, like it didn't feel like it was opening up interesting conversations to me. It felt kind of like a critical brick wall. Right? This question of like, well, at the end of the day, how does one know anybody's motivations when they're doing things and what's the relationship between performativity and ethics. And I was just like, that doesn't feel like an interesting question to me.
I feel like there are some things, some frameworks, some combinations of the frameworks plus objective study make for really good conversations. And others seem like, that would make for a very clear and straightforward paper, but we're not writing papers, we're having conversations. And so it's sort of like, you could make a variety of arguments about sweet potato fries, but like the one that produces the most like, aha, in the actual conversation is maybe not the one that you see coming.
Yeah. Trying to maximize the number of times people go, oh.
Literally all I ever try to do when I do research for these episodes is to surprise Hannah, and every fucking time she's like, oh, I read that book already. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Fuck you, that happened one time.
Great.
Well, also, like, more importantly, Hannah's like, I think it's by, and then you'll name this like person with 9 names. You're like, James Henry Johnson McCaber. And I'm like, how do you know this? Like, how do you remember this like random academic? You're like, and it was published in like 2018. I'm like, what are you? That's the thing.
And then the correction is like, oh, sorry, actually, no, it was published in 2017, but the edition that I read was the re-edited edition that was published in 2019.
Yeah, and that's it's got a totally different critical introduction. Yeah.
Just to shout out some chatter, Mamma Mia says the difference between making an argument and showing interesting conversations is so interesting. That's what makes this podcast so good, which is really nice.
Thank you.
Which is really nice. And I agree.
Can I tell you guys something so cute?
Uh-huh.
My mom, in texting, she, in the last few texts to me, has wanted to include like the cross your fingers emoji, but keeps doing this emoji, like
the heart.
The little Gen Z heart.
Like K-pop heart? Yeah, oh my God.
Little K-pop heart.
So cute.
And I can't, I'm not going to tell her.
No, is it this? Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
It feels like I need to move my arm at an angle it doesn't want to be at to do that.
This is good audio. This is such good audio.
Anyway, let's answer another question.
Great. Julia asks, what makes your hearts flutter a little extra these days?
Swimming in the ocean.
Yay.
Swimming in a natural body of water, like, has such a powerful, like, emotional healing capacity for me. Like, it's not just like physically pleasant, like it's hot and it's nice to get into cold. It's like, I feel like the ocean heals my soul. It makes me feel like I'm both like part of something, but also so small in the grand scheme of things. And like, just another little weird animal just floating in the ocean, just a little piece of seaweed. Like, it just, it really makes me feel better. I got to figure out how to have more water in my life in the winter, but that is what is really doing it for me.
I have a question.
Aquafit.
Yeah, Aquafit.
Yeah. Was that your question? Aquafit?
Yeah, Aquafit. No. Is that a gym or is that like a thing? Is that like what's Aquafit?
It's when you do exercise.
Oh, like Aqua Fitness. In America, we just call it fitness.
Yeah, all their fitness is aqua.
Yeah, no. Aquafit. Okay. I think I was thinking Aquavit. Okay, my question was enough. My question was, is cold plunging is there a big culture of that in Vancouver, Hannah?
Yeah.
Could you like tap into that?
On New Year's Day, cold water swimming. It's not even just cold plunging. People year-round cold water swim.
Yeah, cool.
In wetsuits, but still, year-long ocean's
going to get wet if you jump in the water.
Yeah, great point. There is a huge collective polar bear. We call them polar bear swims in Canada.
Polar bear plunge in the States.
Yeah. And there's a huge collective one that happens on New Year's Day in Vancouver. Like, it's a massive like city event, and people just like thousands of people go and all run into the ocean.
I love that.
Yeah.
How many come back?
Oh, like 2? Man, that ocean is full of polar bears.
It's actually just the purge.
There's so many polar bears. They're so hungry. I don't know if you guys have heard about the ice caps, but they're making their way to Vancouver. We are.
Oh, go on, Marcel.
Yep. No, I was going to tell a fact that's a bummer, and we don't need to do
No,
that
thanks.
here.
Tell us about what makes your heart flutter.
Wait, but before you do that, wait.
Wait.
I'm talking so much more than I planned. I'm having the time of my life. I was like, I'll just be there quietly on Insta. I'm like, I'm a third host today.
Absolutely not.
I don't feel like it. I feel like talking.
No.
But okay, but here's my line that I live by when it comes to water, which is what you reminded me, Hannah, which is that if a local invites you to go into the body of water, go in. So like when I'm visited a friend in San Francisco, and it was like super cold, and she was like, but you should probably do like a dunk, even though it's going to be like 40 degrees. And my body was physically capable of doing that. I was like, yes, because I live by the rule that if a local tells me I should go in, I do it. And then you get all these mikvahs. You get all these like lovely cleanses in waters. So anyway, if I go to Vancouver, Hannah, and you're like, get into that water, like I would, regardless if you are going with me.
You get in the ocean.
What's really fun about Alberta is that almost none of the bodies of water are safe to get into.
Yeah, I know.
So I would say I'll never.
No.
So
that's not true.
Yeah.
We have lots of glacial lakes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those are fun to get into.
I love that.
If a bit brisk.
Yeah.
What about you, Marcel? What's making your heart flutter?
My youngest child is on the edge of 3.
I was like, are you
right
going to tell
now?
us something cute that Cohen is up to? Because that was my hope.
I'm not. No, I'm going to talk about how hard it is to think about things that make my heart flutter because 3 is such a vile age.
Yeah.
And he's so wonderful and we love him so much. But the number of times that I've been like, if I lived close to a woods, I would take him.
It's a real good thing we don't have wells
leave
anymore.
him to the wolves. Exactly. There are no wells in this neighborhood. He is so cute though. So that's really good. I'm not sure what's making we're gonna go on a little family trip soon. We're gonna fly to Montreal.
Lovely.
And then while we're in Montreal, but after spending a few days in Montreal, we're going to take the train to Ontario to connect with my mom and my grandma. And we're going to be there for a little while. And then at the end of that visit, we're going to go to Toronto for a baseball game.
Wow.
We're going to go see the Blue Jays play against the Oakland A's. The Oakland Athletics.
Jays games are so fun.
And then we're going to go to Hamilton, which is where Trevor's family is. And then we're going to come home. And it's going to be really nice.
We got to compare dates because at the end of July, I am going to Ottawa to see my family, which will include a visit to Picton. And then my friends Aaron and Bart and Elizabeth are going to pick me up and we are going to drive to Quebec City and spend the night and then drive the rest of the way to Nova Scotia to stay at their cottage.
That's
so we're
fun.
going to be...
That's fun.
Yeah. We're going to be 2 ships passing in the night and it sounds like recording is going to be really complicated
Thank
in the
God
month of August.
for that summer slowdown.
Slow down. Wow. And it's just so funny because no one decided to tell Coach that they'd be 5 hours away from New York. No one decided. I could get to Montreal in a heart. I could get to Montreal at a day's notice.
You want to come to Montreal?
I'd like to be asked.
Montreal, buddy. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Coach,
okay, I'll come.
Come to Montreal.
Okay. Well, I
Montreal.
definitely, it's on my to-do. I was saying to my roommate 2 days ago, I was like, I gotta go to Montreal. And speaking of, Amy Mitchell said in the chat a while ago, I visited Montreal, tried poutine. Amazing.
Yeah, a really solid food. Like,
yes,
really, if you haven't had it and you've only ever heard of it as a Canadian joke food,
it's
like, it's a good invention.
And then
it's really, really good.
Ryan said, poutine and vachon à caramel. I don't know what that is. Vachon à caramel.
That sounds delicious.
Vachon à caramel.
I don't know what it is.
Our standard recommendations. And then somebody else said Montreal bagels.
Vachon has something to do with a cow.
Oh.
It has to. Une vache.
It's probably...
it has to.
It simply has to.
Something with caramel sauce. Something dairy with caramel sauce.
A caramel cow.
Delicious.
A little caramel cow.
Yeah, Ryan, you drop it in.
A bite of that cow after you drizzle it in caramel sauce. Okay. Montreal bagels.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 2 long-established bagel providers,
Okay.
purveyors of bagel.
Okay.
Saint Viateur and Fairmont. Fairmont is less famous, but 100% better.
Okay.
So I would recommend eating from both. Getting the t-shirts from Saint Viateur because Fairmont doesn't sell t-shirts. But know in your heart that Fairmont is better.
Okay, fantastic.
And if it's been raining, be very careful when you walk past the bageleries because you will slip and fall because there are so many sesame seeds. It's dangerous.
That's a joke.
It's dangerous. It's not a joke.
It's so funny.
It's not a joke.
A public
There's
hazard
so
in
many sesame
Montreal
seeds.
is the slippery
Sesame seeds.
sesame seed slurries.
Only at the intersection of
Oh my God.
only at the intersection of Saint-Aubin and Fairmont.
Some chatter from the chat. Deanna says, I just ate, but y'all are making me hungry. Corrine says, caramel are packaged pastries by the company Vachon in Beauce. Is that how you say that? Where Max Bernier is from.
Oh.
And then Mary confirmed that, yes, my mom always says they're cute so you don't kill them. I think referencing children.
Babies. Yeah.
Not
Babies.
bagels.
Yeah.
The babies.
Or cows.
Yeah.
Or
2
cows,
to 3
yes.
year olds. Cute so you don't kill them.
Yeah. Okay, we have a kind of like a controversy to talk about.
Oh, is it
ready?
the second half of Bridgerton?
Not yet.
Okay.
But
All
we
right.
did promise that to the people, and
All
we
right.
should do that after this question.
The real bait and switch. Let's talk about reservation dogs
Oh,
instead.
fuck. You guys, Reservation Dogs, it's so good. Okay, sorry.
Watch it now. We had a comment on Patreon from Sarah who said, I do not have a coherent, and I'm going to read this with love. Don't shoot the messenger, or don't slap
my
the coach.
God.
I don't know. What's the phrase?
bad is
Oh my
it?
God.
It's
I'm
not.
sorry. Is this live
It's
episode
not.
an accountability process?
I'm calling you in.
I can't do that live. I need time to be an asshole in private.
Don't worry. Okay, Sarah says, I don't have a coherent question, but I want to call them out on dissing teen dramas recently because it's such an amazing genre, was literally my object of study for my master's, and I think they were overly dismissive. Let me say, I don't remember that happening, so I'm not saying y'all didn't do it, but I can't remember when this was because I think of us as like a teen drama supporting loving company.
Yeah, I love teen dramas.
So now I'm calling you in. What did you say off mic? What did you tweet?
I'm
been
going to
tweeting.
blame this on
I've been
Malika
tweeting about it a
for
lot.
editing us in a way that makes us sound like we
But
hate
I
teen
listened to the
dramas.
final edit, so I'm like, when did we talk about that? Do you have any idea?
Is it just me? Is it me because I didn't watch any of the major teen dramas?
But I don't feel like you were dismissive about them. I'm hearing the feedback, but I'm just trying to be like, when was that happening? So you know what? Let's just correct the record. Generally speaking, I'm going to go first, kind of set the tone. Just that.
Coach, I love you so much.
Give me an inch.
More of
I'll
this.
take 45 minutes.
More of this. I love it.
What I say, I love teen dramas. I grew up on them. I think they made me a better writer. I think they made me a more empathetic person. I think they taught me a lot about the female gaze. And I don't ever want to be dismissive of them. So I'll say that. I'm popcorning to Marcel.
The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch was incredible. One of my favorite television shows. I'd love to talk at length about that. That was really fun.
Is that like the reboot?
Yeah, it was the reboot. It was awesome. I don't know. I love reading romances about teens falling in love, especially when nothing bad happens to them.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
So I love
They just get to,
be teens.
I know I keep coming back to it, but Dante and now I can't remember the name of it.
Don't be dismissive, Marcel. This is
Aristotle.
live.
I know. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. Is little M for M romance, and it's so beautiful. In Other Lands, also teen. Oh my God, yeah. I don't know. It doesn't sound like me.
Okay,
I just-
we have
Maybe I
something.
said something shitty.
I just feel like it was probably me because here's
And Hannah, we got something in the chat that confirms that.
yeah. Okay, what did I say? What did I
Okay.
say?
Sunena said, I remember Hannah saying something about not liking media that focus on teens as much because she's not as interested in the internal life of teens at some
Yeah.
point. But maybe that's it.
That's what I was
remember that.
But you're allowed to
That
know
was about
the
what I
internal
was
life of teens.
about to reiterate. It is a always for me a like, how do I put this? It is tricky sometimes to have media that is politically attacked a lot for reasons I don't agree with, that I personally also don't enjoy.
Right.
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 So it's like, I don't really like teen content.
Yeah.
I don't like teen dramas. I mostly don't like books with teen protagonists. I read a ton of it when I was a teen, or actually more likely a kid. Like I got into
Just a little advanced.
adult fiction quite young.
An advanced reader.
Oh, what can I say? I was an advanced reader.
Everyone, you hear 500 people go, yeah, we know.
We're learning mbop in my choir, and somebody had me make a voice note of the lyrics for the chorus because I was the only one who could get the word bop badoobadop bop do bop badoobadop bop do bop badoobadop bop do. And I was like, at last this PhD is proving useful. Yeah, and so it's one of those things where it's like, I don't like it. I don't particularly want to read about teens.
Yeah.
But like, I really understand that to be totally a matter of personal taste. Like,
totally.
I just generally, and I don't, if somebody's like, here's an amazing book, and the protagonists are teenagers, I'm not like in the garbage. But like, the genre conventions of YA for the most part don't appeal to me. The same way I don't really read murder mysteries. Like, I don't think, I don't disdain them. I just kind of don't like the genre conventions. Like, it's not a fun place to spend time for me. But the way that people attack teen content is so much based on this idea that like, it is inadequately sophisticated to spend time in the inner lives of young people. Like, it really, really is part of the like Jonathan Franzen of it all. Like, these are, silly readers and silly viewers who don't want to spend time with real adult problems. And so they read fiction. I need you to understand, I'm not reading serious adult books. I'm just reading silly books with adults in them so that it's, so that they can do more sex and crimes.
I gotta agree that like teen sex is quite cringe once you are old enough to be the parent of teens. It's cringe. It's cringe to enjoy content that is sexy with teens.
I think you
Coach disagrees.
mostly well, no, but I do think largely adults read, if you're reading teen romance, you're sort of projecting your own self as a teen into it. I think. I just want to name that for the public that does enjoy those sexy teen romances. But what I was actually going to say is that you had cleared the record really successfully. That said, She Is Superman's Cousin did say known teen hater Hannah McGregor. And I do think that feels like it belongs on like a mug.
New merch.
Shirt, my face. Give me a thumbs down. It says known teen hater.
Yeah, that feels right. That feels good.
Teen hater McGregor is what we're going to call you from now on.
I gotta say, I don't think I know a single teen right now.
I just think hater McGregor is like a really funny way to just version of your name.
And I am a
Hannah
hater.
McGregor, hater McGregor.
Yeah.
Okay, now I think it's the perfect time to talk about Bridgerton. Speaking of romance that features teens who are adultified because they are whatever. In what era are they?
Regency.
No,
Regency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Regency.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop us and then we'll just pick up with Bridgerton. Bye.